guys, welcome back to my channel. I have my boyfriend here with me today.
Hey, I'm Byron. I'm her boyfriend.
Okay, I just said you're my boyfriend. Anyway, it's been a while since I did a video, and we actually did a video together called Meet My Boyfriend. So if you haven't seen that, I'm gonna link that in the description box below. But if you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever else on social media that's not YouTube, you will have seen that I recently announced that I'm having a baby.
Wait, you're having a baby?
Yes, I'm having a baby.
Are we having a baby?
We're having a baby, but who's pushing the baby out? Me.
Yeah, but...
So I am having a baby, unless if you're pushing the baby out of your
I'll be there with moral support.
We're having a baby.
Thank you.
That I am having. And a few people have been DMing me or messaging me and asking me why I'm not actually blogging about this process. And I don't actually know why I haven't done it.
I mean, first trimester, you're not really all kind of up in the air, isn't it? So you're supposed to be sort of hush-hush.
Well, yeah, and it was kind of really a shitty time. It wasn't that great.
Could you try not to confront the child?
Anyway, so I thought it would be nice actually to document this journey. I never got the experience of doing that with my first child, and I thought this would be something nice to do. And also, I've been on this holistic journey for a while, and my first birthing experience was not fun. It was the conventional experience. I had an epidural. I had problems after that, like with my back and my spine from the epidural. It just wasn't a fun experience. It was 36 hours of hell.
Yeah, I mean, the birth, having the baby was fun.
Well, no. Like holding the baby. Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, that's fun, but the experience of going through labor and even after the labor, just physically with how I felt with myself, that wasn't fun. So because I'm going through this holistic journey, I thought it would be nice to actually look at other ways, or actually maybe because I've been hearing people and seeing on Instagram people who talk about how their birth was so beautiful, it was like such a magical experience, and I'm not sure I fully buy it.
Some people are happy in war situations. I don't know. It takes all kinds of personalities and resilience.
So I thought, you know what, I've been looking into it, and I've had some of these people say to me, are you going to get a doula? And I was like, who, what? Like, I had never heard of a doula myself until a couple months ago. Have you?
Nope, until you mentioned it to me.
So what do you think a doula is?
So it's like a midwife.
No. So apparently it's not. It doesn't replace a midwife. A doula is kind of like somebody who helps you have a positive birthing experience. And
like a business consultant.
No.
For your womb. A womb consultant.
No. Just somebody, the way that I see it, and I'm like, I don't know, because I've just been going off things I've been reading and stuff. It's someone who just helps you stay positive, helps you stay grounded, and just connects you to the beauty of giving birth. Yeah.
Well, it's my first birth, so it's going to be a surprise no matter what to me.
It's not your first birth, you're not giving birth.
Oh, I'm sorry, my first...
Your first experience.
Experience in the birthing...
Yeah.
Process?
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a doula coming over that I thought would be fun, but we're going to interview one anyway. I just wanted to find out more about what they do, who they are, how they can support us, and I thought it would be nice to kind of, document that. Do you have anything specific that you want to ask her?
Where does the word doula come from? Because I'm really confused.
Really? That's the pressing question?
Kinda, yeah.
Over a woman who's gonna be
You
with
said
us
a
in
doula, I thought the center of the Lakers,
the most...
Karima Doula.
I don't even know what that means.
Alright, so
I'm not American.
it's an LA thing.
So anyway, yeah, so we've got a lady coming over, and her name is Caroline, and hopefully she can give us more answers and help us feel a bit more enlightened about what a doula does, and maybe help us make the decision as to whether or not we feel that it's the right fit for us and we would need a doula. Yeah, so we'll see what happens, guys. Okay guys, so as I mentioned before, we now have the lovely Caroline from doulamamababa.co.uk, and Caroline is a doula, like the name of her website says.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what a doula is?
Not a clue.
No, that's why you're here. You're here to educate us.
Well, doula is actually a Greek word and it means servant.
Oh.
So doulas serve women and families who are birthing. And there are two types of doula. Birth doulas, who support families antenatally through the birth process and with their newborn, and postnatal doulas, who come into the home after you've had your new baby or babies sometimes, and support in the home. And doulas offer emotional, practical and informational support. So we're here to support you as a family as you grow, to help for you to find information that you need for your pregnancy and for your labour and for after birth. And we do that from a research-based perspective. So it's not about what we did with our births or with our children. It's about what the research says can be good, what other parents have found works, and we give you those options so that you can make the options that are right for your family. An important thing to know that we don't do is we don't provide clinical or medical support.
That's what he thought. He thought you were a midwife.
I'm not a midwife. Doulas love midwives, and we work really closely with midwives, and they're responsible for your clinical and medical care. So that's why we work together to support you and your baby.
And just...
You had no idea this job existed, did you?
No, idea.
But what we're doing is we're recreating what we used to do. We used to all live in tribes and communities where we'd be surrounded by our mums and our aunties and our sisters and your mums, and everybody would be around us to support us when we had a baby. And now we don't do that. We have this nuclear family where we're living within four walls, us, a mother on her own, a mother with her partner, but very rarely within an extended family to help out.
Yeah.
So doulas are kind of meeting that need, and it's a very ancient need, to be with someone else who has birthed or raised children or who understands how to help and support that. So it's recreating a really old job that has, kind of got lost in translation.
Yeah. And that's, when I first started reading about like doulas and whatever, I was like really interested in, like I said when I sent you that email, it's always kind of been you go into the hospital, you get your pain relief, you go through the pain and you roll out with the baby, suck it up, that's it, done. And I've been like reading recently more people saying, oh, actually it was a beautiful experience and I enjoyed it and all this stuff. And then when I was telling you about, like, oh, I think we should get a doula, I'm interested in that, you were like, well, I was telling you that doula supports you and all this, and you're like, well, that's my job then, so what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, because I have the visions like the Le Mans breeding partner, like what am I going to do then if that's what the doula's there to support you? And
doulas do not replace a birth partner where there is a birth partner present. Obviously, sometimes we support mums who are going through this on their own, and that's a very different role. But when we're working with a family, we support both partners, and that might be suggesting things to the other birth partner that might help the mum as she's going through the labour. So, just a bit of a back massage there or a hip squeeze here, things that you might not have tried before because you may not have been at other births or at many births. But also, it's about reassuring the other partner that things are okay. It can be a really frightening experience sometimes to be seeing your partner doing something that you've never seen before, and it might sound scary and look scary, and it can be good to have someone over there who's going, this is good, this is normal, what we're seeing here, we love this.
Well, so, I don't know what you mean. I'm just a man. I got to fix every problem I see. So if she's unhappy, I want to fix it right away, right?
That is so true. And my huge recommendation to you and other dads who are birth partners is to read an amazing book called Men, Love and Birth by Mark Harris. And Mark is a fantastic midwife. He's obviously a male midwife. He's a dad, he's a granddad, and he has written this amazing book for men about how to support your partner during the birth process, and about being present and understanding that men want to fix it and that this can't be fixed, and redirecting that emotional response into how you can best support. So that's my top tip for male birth partners is that book.
I gotta get you that book.
There we go. Amazon, here I come.
Absolutely.
So take me through like the process then. Let's say, if you were my doula. So how exactly does it work? when do you know, like, you know, when to come and support, and because, you know, even if there's like, oh, the baby's due on this date, it doesn't always happen.
For sure.
On that. So how let's just take us through the process, basically.
Yeah. So you first start off, if you decide you want a birth doula, by talking to several doulas, because you've got to find the one that's right for you. And that's a real emotional decision, because people gel in different ways. And you've got to find someone that you're comfortable with at the very, very intimate and special moment when you welcome your baby or your babies into the world. So it's that personal connection, first of all. Then your doula will work with you antenatally, and she'll provide, I'll say she, but there are a couple of male doulas, but they will provide antenatal support for you to talk you through the birth planning process that you want to go through. And it's important to know that doulas would support home births, hospital births, birth centre births, and births that change in between. You know, we can support elective cesareans as well as vaginal delivery, so it's whatever birth is right for you guys. So meet a few times antenatally so that your doula really understands what you want from the birth process, what's important to you, where are your red lines, what are the things that you really would not like to happen, what are the things that you'd be okay if it was needed, and what are the things that you really want and that are going to make this time special for you. Then when you're coming up to your due date, and a lot of doulas like to refer to due months or due periods so that we don't focus on the 15th of December, but we're going to meet your baby in December. And you'll be talking, you'll be texting quite regularly. If you see your midwife, you check up with a doula, just let them know what's happened. And then generally it's the middle of the night. Most of my calls come at night, and it's a call from mum or the other partner saying, we think something might be happening. We're not sure. What do you think? And Maria says, well, it's not my body. What can you feel? Tell me what you feel. And we talk through how you're feeling and how long it's been going. And then I ask, do you want some support now? In the hospital situation or with midwives, they come when you're at a certain process, or they'll admit you to hospital when you're at a certain part of the birth. With doulas, we come when you need us. And there have been times when I've come to a lady and she's been labouring, and then things have dropped off, and we've gone, I'll go home for a bit, because, you know, this isn't happening right now, and that's okay. And I go off home, or I sleep on the sofa for a bit, and we get out, we have a walk, we see if things are going to start happening again.
You just don't come in with like a starting pistol, like, okay, we're off.
Absolutely not. So it's a real gradual process, and it depends when you guys feel you need someone there to support you. So it might be really early in labour if you're quite anxious, or it might be, you know, you're rocking this, you're going to have a few hours sleep, and you'll check in with me in an hour. Then when you feel things are cracking on and you would like someone there to support you, I come down normally to you at home, whether you're home birthing or birthing somewhere else. Labour almost always starts at home. So stay with you and support you guys. Make sure that, Dad, if you're about, that you've eaten and you've rested, so that you are best placed to support your partner later on in the birth process.
Yeah, she loves it when I'm grumpy.
We don't want a hangry daddy. We don't want hangry. So, but you know, that's the sort of thing that dads will forget. Is, you know, we've got to look after you as well, so you can best look after your partner and your new baby. And then mum would be maybe doing some back massage, we'd be doing some different positions, might use my rebozo, which is a long Mexican shawl, might be wrapping this around your bump and doing some belly sifting. So, Daddy, would you like to be my volunteer?
Sure.
Just go on all fours.
Okay.
And I'm going to wrap my rebozo around your bump.
He has a bump anyway.
Actually a beer gut. It's not a bump.
I wasn't going to say that. You said that, not me.
I am a brewer,
So I'd be wrapping it between your boobs and your nickle line. Obviously, we don't quite have that here. And gathering it up, and I'd just be doing a little gentle sifting.
What does that do?
You stay still. And it's just, it'll take the weight of your baby, and that's really amazing when you're 9 months pregnant. Lift it up and just provide baby with a little bit of gentle movement to help him or her get into what we call
How does that feel,
optimal fetal position, so the best place for birth.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Okay. Okay, so that was quite interesting. Where's that technique? What is that?
That's Mexican technique, and many cultures across the world use birthing cloths or birthing shawls to support mums during pregnancy. They might wrap bellies with it, might have a massage after the birth called closing the bones. So it's really traditional techniques. So we'd use those sort of comfort measures with you, whatever feels right for you. Be reminding you to do important things like eat a little if you can, to go to the toilet very frequently. So the reminders that you might forget about. And then helping you to feel comfortable deciding if you're birthing away from home, when you feel it's right to go to your place of birth, and supporting you as you're transported there. So Dad, if you're driving, that means you can concentrate, and there's someone in the car with Mummy making sure that she's as comfortable as she can be. And then in the hospital, if you choose to birth in a hospital or birthing centre, or at home if your midwives are coming to you, we then support you with comfort techniques, reassurance, emotional support throughout the labour, and that's both of you for emotional support. The midwives are then responsible for your clinical care, and when your baby comes, it's around supporting you to have important skin-to-skin time in those first hours, supporting with early breastfeeding if that's the choice you want to make. So really making sure that you as a family are in the right place to be giving the baby what the baby needs in those early hours, and that making sure that you are fed and watered, that if you want to shower, you've got someone to go to the shower and hold the bits up that need to be held up. There's a lot of quite intimate stuff goes on at that point after a birth, and it's good to do that with someone that you know and you trust, not with someone who maybe you've only just met. That can make mums feel more confident. And the research shows that families who are supported by someone continuously through the labour, who interestingly is not a family member, have better birth outcomes. Because we can be emotionally invested in you and supporting you, but without it being our family and those different dynamics that work between family members.
Wow. So how does it work in terms of like with hospitals and midwives and whatever? Are doulas recognized? Is this something that could literally walk in and say, hey, this is my doula, and they like totally understand what you're there for, and that you guys can work together? Yeah.
Most midwives are really on board with the idea of doula supporting, and doulas can be informal doulas, so it might be your sister or another relative who's supporting you. Or it might be someone like myself who has trained as a doula through Doula UK, which is the British organisation. So midwives are really generally very on board, because they just see it as someone else there to support the family, and someone who understands what's going on and can support them to support the family. So I've been lucky, I've had incredibly positive reactions with midwives, and it's great to build those relationships so that when the midwife, if you're birthing in a hospital, if the midwife comes in, you're like, oh, we've got the dream team here. I know this midwife, she's fantastic. Yeah. And that can really support the birthing family as well.
Amazing.
So, just because I'm always thinking, my experience around birth has always been with my friends in America, and I've been, privileged to be around. When they go into labor and visiting them pre and post and during all that, but I had never encountered doulas in America. Is that something that's very new to here, or is it in America?
I heard about it from my American friends.
Oh, really?
There are lots of doulas in America. There are some really big doula organisations, Pro Doula and Kappa, so it's a huge thing in America. In the UK, I think it's around 20 years that it's been around, since Michelle Audant, who's a really famous French obstetrician, got a group of women together from an advert in the paper, I think, that was kind of like, do you support women? Let's meet. And the kind of organisation started from there. And last year I went to the European Doula Conference, so I met doula sisters from all over Europe. There's many doulas over the world, but it's certainly something that's still not well recognised in terms of, if someone says to me, what do you do? And I say, I'm a doula, I'll frequently get, are you a jeweler? Are you a dealer? Not so much. Sure, it's a term that still isn't well recognised by many people.
It definitely is, because I think I've only come across it since I've just kind of been dabbling and playing in the holistic field. And a lot of my friends today, I'm like, oh, I'm interviewing a doula. They're like, oh, like what is that? And and a lot of my other friends are like, is that just some rich people thing? Like,
well, can I just lay that one to rest? The first family I ever supported as a birth doula were Syrian refugees.
Wow.
So no, this is not something for rich women. This is something for any woman who feels they want the support. And if it's a family that's in circumstances where they might not be able to afford a doula, There are different routes that can happen. Doulas sometimes often skill shares or skill swaps. And there's something called the Doula Access Fund, which Doula UK, the main organisation in the UK, runs, where families in real hardship can be supported by a doula through the Access Fund. And also there are some projects with local councils where social services are helping support doula care for the most vulnerable women. So doulas are for everyone who feels they want one.
Yeah, so you're like a pregnancy social worker, as it were, to a certain degree.
I wouldn't be. No, so the social worker's job is very different, but they might choose to work with a doula to support a mum who's very vulnerable.
Right.
And what is the role then? So if somebody didn't want a doula in I think I just heard a rumble. If somebody didn't want a doula like through the birth process, but they felt they needed a doula postnatally. So what does the doula do postnatally? How do they support the family then?
So they come in and they work with the family to parent in the way the family wants. So it might be support for feeding the baby. It might be support with looking after the baby so that the parents can rest, or supporting the parents to look after the baby whilst they help out with the toddler. So there's lots of different ways. It might be cooking the family some simple nutritious meals, batch cooking, making sure things are in the freezer. So whatever the family needs. It's like having, your auntie come round who just does what you need, and sees things that might need doing and helps out. And the idea is that we're supporting the family to be able to parent as best they can in the way they want. So it might be postnatally that you want to co-sleep, but you've heard some various things about that. You're not quite sure whether it's safe or not. So your doula will be able to signpost you to the different sources of research, so that you can make the decision that's right for your family. And if you chose to co-sleep, we'd then maybe go to the bedroom, make sure the bed's set up in the safest way it can do, and model how things might be for you, so that you can parent the way you want. But you've got the evidence base of, well, this is what the research says, this is what the guidelines say, and this is what, importantly, the anecdotal evidence is. This is what other mothers and other families feel works for them. It's very much about not judging what parents' choices are. So I support parents who fully breastfeed, who combination feed, who formula feed. I support parents who co-sleep, who have a crib, who have their baby in a cot separately. It's not about my choices or how I parented my children. It's about how you want to parent your children and helping you to be the best parents that you can be.
I like that. And do doulas, in order for somebody to call themselves a doula, do they have to go through a training, or can I just wake up today and be like...
It's really important to know that, you could. So being a doula is not a recognised profession. Like your midwife cannot say she's a midwife unless she's completed the appropriate training. Doulas can be anyone, and some people are doulas without the training. They just are. But in the UK, there are several organisations who certify and recognise training. So if that's important to you, you can ask the doulas that you're interviewing what training they've done and who that's been with.
Okay. What other stuff do you have with you? I'm
I have, mainly my things are knitted. I can't knit. I should learn to knit. I have my birth doll. And this is really great when you've got children already in the family, and we want to talk through what's going to happen to mummy. So if you were planning a home birth and you wanted your children to be present but not scared or fearful, we might be using our doll to find out what happens. And we would go through the birth process, but we probably wouldn't go through the birth process on our back, because we like to birth in an active position often. So we might have mummy on all fours, and we'll go through the fact that we'll see the baby first.
Oh, Tyler would be so
really
confused.
Useful for a daddy who wasn't sure. After you birth the baby, you have to birth the placenta. I had a daddy who had not a clue that was going to happen.
I had some really big hippie friends that had a big ritual around the placenta.
Okay.
So most people know that, but actually not everybody's got that whole idea. So we have interesting props to show what happens.
That's awesome. Do you get that from the doula store? Is that
pretty much? There are amazing women on Etsy who knit better than me. This is what I use the most. Dad, what's this?
It's a boob.
It's a boob. It's my knitted boob. Because when we're supporting breastfeeding, we don't want to be hands-on with you. So we have our knitted boobs and our dolls so that we can demonstrate the sort of positions that we might like to use. So I might suggest a model that you might just like to try laid back breastfeeding or biological breastfeeding, and I'll talk you through the reasons why that might work for you. But it enables me to do some great demonstrations without getting anything out that I don't want to share right now.
Wow, can I?
For sure, yeah.
This is fascinating.
This is another great resource. Do you reckon you can guess what that is, Amanda?
Tic-tac-toe?
No.
So it's to do with the first days postnatally. I'd be using this in the first week. Yeah, you've guessed. That face.
What?
This is baby poo.
Oh!
So a question that I get really frequently is either in person or by text. This is the contents of my baby's nappy. Is this normal?
Yeah, I remember going through that. Yes.
That's a big thing. Poo and doulas spend a lot of time talking about poo. So this is my knitted poo, which shows what it's going to look like on the first day, the transitions that it's going to go through, and what we're aiming for around day 4 or 5 after birth. So I use this antenatally so that parents know what's likely to be coming out of their baby, and then postnatally so we can have a little check of, is baby actually pooing the right colour? Because that's a really important sign of whether baby's getting enough food, and if they're not, then we'd be wanting to refer back to the midwife for some extra support.
This is a good tool, because I do remember going through the whole poo process and just freaking out and Googling, because I was like,
my baby poos black.
Yes, exactly. I remember that, and I was just like, what's going on? Is it normal?
Yeah, and that's a lot of what doulas do, is saying, is it normal? And either saying, yes it is, or it doesn't seem to be quite what I'd expect. Let's go and get some medical support for that.
Okay.
So it's about, a lot of what I do is normalising the birth process, normalising feeding with babies, especially breastfeeding infants, how often they feed, how much. So a lot of my work is going, that's really normal. That's totally fine. We're good with that. And a lot of talk about poo.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
Curious also, because Amanda's had so many things with other health issues. Would you know about how that affects the birthing process and the development?
She's not a.
As I said, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
So I would never be making any clinical judgments. And as your birth doula, we'd be working together antenatally. So I'll be getting to know the things that are important to you and parts of your history that are important to you. And that might be medical. It might be around previous trauma that you've suffered. Anything that's going to feed in. And no, I absolutely don't have all the answers. So if you have a medical condition and you're wondering about how that's going to affect things, we might do the research together. It's not about me having all the answers and knowing everything. It's actually about empowering you to know where the best places to go to look for that information. So the bit I'd bring to that is I'd know the really great places to go and look. But we'd do that information searching together, and then you'd be the ones going back to your healthcare provider and going, well, this is kind of what I found out. Can I now discuss how that affects me? Because I'm not a statistic, I'm me.
And then if you were dealing with somebody, say, who is extremely afraid of pain, has a very, very low pain threshold, but is adamant, like I am. Like, I mean, my first birthing experience, I had an epidural. I didn't want it, but like I'm in so much pain and I freaked out, and and I just got it, and I regretted it after, because it's just not for me personally.
Right, it wasn't the right choice for you.
Yeah, but like I am really afraid of pain.
Okay.
So how would you support me then in just staying like calm?
I'd probably be talking to you about how you felt about things like hypnobirthing, which we know has been proved to reduce interventions after birth, and it helps support women to manage what their sensations their body is feeling. So we might look at hypnobirthing. It might be that I referred you to a local hypnobirthing teacher, or we might choose to share those materials ourselves. It would be whatever felt right for you. We'd also look at what other comfort measures might be the right choices for you. So we'd talk about birthing in water, or even labouring in water, but birthing not in water if that was something that wasn't comfortable for you. So that can be an amazing tool to support. Or we might look at a TENS machine and try a TENS machine on. So, and also we would talk about the pharmacological things. What can you choose in terms of Entonox drugs that might be different and have different effects? So I'd make sure that you were fully genned up with the knowledge of all the different choices you could make. And then there are just some really old school things in terms of, you know, massage and holding stress balls and hip squeezes. Doulas love to do a big double hip squeeze, which can actually, if applied at the right time in a contraction or a surge, can really give some relief there. So there are lots of things that we could do in terms of supporting you to manage the feelings and sensations that you're having, and also to make sure that on the day you made the choices that were right for you and that you were comfortable with those choices.
Amazing.
It's definitely not about going, doulas think you shouldn't do X, Y, or Z. We support women, whatever their choices are. We just try and make sure that women understand the choices that are around for them, so that they can feel happy that, yes, I had the birth that was right for me and my baby, however that birth looks on the day.
Yeah. So let's talk about you a little bit then. You know, like I would love to know more about you. How long have you been a doula? What made you become a doula? You know, let's just get into that a little bit.
So my former life is as a teacher, primary school teacher. So that's a lot of supporting families. Of course, I've spent 20 years supporting families. And over the last few years, I've been privileged to be asked by friends to support them at births and postnatally and with breastfeeding. I lived with my amazing housemate for a year, and 3 weeks after she moved in, she birthed. And so we went through that process together. And I then lived with her, and that little girl now calls me Mummy Caroline, and she refers to my daughters as her sisters, so we're really very close. We're so close, in fact, that I actually relactated when she had her baby.
Wow.
So my youngest was about 10 at that point, and I had chosen to breastfeed.
That is amazing.
And so, that happened. So the hormonal links were really amazing. Our bodies are fantastic. So when I was looking at what changes I wanted to make in my life, I looked at breastfeeding support training, which is something that I'm doing at the moment. And that led me on to doula training, which again, I was like, what's this? I hadn't had a doula. I hadn't got any friends who'd use a doula. So it was something I was learning about too. And I chose a course and made some amazing connections with 11 other doula sisters, we call them if we train together. And that was only a year and a half ago. And since then I've supported 13 births and maybe, 25, maybe 30 families postnatally. So it's been a real busy couple of years for me. An amazing change, such a privilege to support families at this.
So what do you enjoy about it? What is it that...
I enjoy supporting the families. It's actually not about holding babies. And often I'll be at a birth and I won't have, I'll go home, I won't have held the baby at all, because it's not my baby, it's your baby. It's about supporting the families and having that connection so that I know that the families have the experience that they want. And the same postnatally, it's about, I enjoy supporting the family group, however that family group manifests, so that they can be in a position going, we've got this, we can rock this, we're acing this out. And that's what I really enjoy, is walking away from that going, they're doing this.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Do you have any questions for Caroline?
I mean, we're going to have a lot of questions definitely as time goes on.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of topics.
Yeah.
And a lot of...
And if you chose to have the doula to work with, then you could contact them, all through that antenatal period with your questions. And sometimes the answer would be, a lot of parents do this, some parents do this. Sometimes the answer will be, I'm not sure, let's find this out together. And sometimes, of course, the answer will be, you need to go to your healthcare provider, your midwife. This is clinical.
What's like the biggest piece of advice you would give for somebody who was looking to get a doula, and was just kind of like, I don't know if it's for me or not?
It's to trust your instincts. It's all about what feels right for you as a family. And it's got to be something that you feel incredibly comfortable doing. But know that the research shows that families who are supported by a doula or by continuous support for a non-family member have better birth outcomes, over that group of people. So, we're investing in something that's going to hopefully make the birth experience that you guys really want.
Cool.
That's actually, honestly, you have more than answered a lot of questions.
Great.
And you've laid to rest a lot of misconceptions.
That's really important. I'm not a midwife or a doula.
And I think, not just for me, I wanted to share this journey because, like I say, I wasn't 100% sure exactly what it is that you do or how you support. So I thought if I'm not,
there are
I'm sure
many
there's
women
going to
who
be
are not.
loads of other people.
And there's
out
probably
there.
around 800 trained doulas in the UK.
In the UK.
And that's not many compared to the amount of births.
Yeah.
And it grows in communities. So I actually I work in a community in Cambridge, and because there are maybe 30 doulas around there are many women who've had doula support who then tell their friends who tell their friends who tell their friends. So there's a big community of people who know what a doula is.
Yeah.
And normally parents who've had doula support, they're the ones that spread the word.
Yeah.
So their families
tell a word of mouth thing.
Other families who tell other families.
Yeah.
And that's how this is all kind of spreading.
Amazing.
I love that.
I love it too.
So before we wrap up, just tell people where they can find you. If somebody watched this and is like, oh my God, I need to get hold of Caroline, where can they find you?
Sure. Well, my website is www.doulamamababa.co.uk, and I'm also on Facebook at Doula Mama Baba, and all of my contact details are on there. So please feel free to call or to email me. And if you're looking for a doula in your local area, you can go to Doula UK, which has an extensive website where you can put in your postcode and come up with lots of doulas who might be right for you.
And I will put a lot of her contact information anyway, depending on where you're watching this video. If it's on my blog, her contact information will be on there. Yeah. If it's on YouTube, it'll be in the description box. So,
cool. Yeah, because I generally support families in East Anglia and London, but I've got doula colleagues all over the UK.
Amazing. Thank you for taking the time.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. It's really good to meet you guys.
It is. I've learned a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I wish you really well on your parenting journey.
Thank you. And seeing Byron on all fours was totally worth it.
There you go. Play that back, aren't you? Play that back.
Pause, rewind.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
Awesome. Okay guys, so that was definitely interesting. I think if anything, I definitely know what a doula is now. And it's definitely I think it's a very intimate decision, and I think it's not one that you take lightly, and I think it's a very personal decision. So I am definitely, and I keep saying Byron is just like over there giving me the side eye. We are going to take the time to talk about it and discuss and see if this is something that is a right fit for us, and if we actually want to move forward with getting a doula. But I mean, I'd love to thank Caroline. Guys, I'll definitely link all her information in the description box if you want to get in touch with her, because she's definitely been a great source of information for me, and hopefully for you. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I'll definitely keep you updated on what I decide to do. I'm so used to saying what we decide to do as a unit, Byron and I. So yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. I certainly did. And if you have ever used a doula, maybe you knew more than I did. So leave me a comment below. Let me know, how was your experience? Did you love it? Have you never used a doula and thinking maybe you might consider it now? Let's keep the conversation going, guys. Leave me a comment below. Let's talk about it, and maybe I can learn some new stuff from you as well. And if you're not following me on Instagram, on Facebook, my Instagram is @mansmillie. My Facebook is Amanda Millie. So just search that. It's also linked in the description box, just to make life easier for you. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it. I've enjoyed getting back into making videos, and I always say this, but hopefully we can go for more consistency, and hopefully I can blog a bit more about this journey as well and get to bring you along with me. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and until next time, love the life you're living. Bye.